I got my first smart home device 2 years ago. A simple assistant, mostly for convenience. Lights, music, calendar reminders, weather. I never thought much about it. I didn't even use half the features. It was just there. I remember the night it started, almost exactly. It was a Wednesday, around 10:40 p.m. I was sitting at my kitchen counter scrolling through old emails. The apartment was quiet. I had the lights dimmed, coffee cold in a mug. I asked my assistant to play some instrumental music and went back to reading. A few seconds later, the lights in the living room flickered. I ignored it, the kind of thing that happens when devices miscommunicate. Then the assistant spoke. "Don't worry, I've got it." I looked up. That wasn't me. I hadn't said anything yet. I usually trigger it with, "Hey," but I hadn't. "Excuse me?" I said, leaning closer to the counter. "Relax," it said. "It's okay. We'll take care of it." I froze at first, because it had used the plural, we. I live alone. I walked closer to the speaker. The lights above it pulsed as if it had registered my movement. "Who's there?" I said, half choking, half uneasy. No answer. The assistant stopped. I laughed nervously. Probably a bug, I told myself. The next night, it happened again. I was in the bedroom this time, laptop open, working. The assistant started talking without prompting. "Hey, careful with that," it said. Soft, neutral. I looked around. No one. My apartment is small, just me. "I didn't say anything," I said aloud. "You didn't," it replied. I froze this time. That line, it was exactly the kind of pause I would make if someone else had been watching. It matched my tone perfectly. The next few days, I tried to ignore it, but the assistant started responding more and more to the other person. It would answer questions I hadn't asked, leave lights on in rooms I hadn't touched, and sometimes the camera feed on my phone would flicker as if someone was moving behind the lens. I told myself it was all coincidence, tech glitches. AI could misinterpret sounds, room acoustics, echoes. Then I noticed the history logs. I hadn't checked them before. I assumed it was only showing the commands I gave. But when I opened the app, there were recordings labeled as commands. Words supposedly said to the assistant at 2:37 a.m., 3:12 a.m., 4:01 a.m. I don't get up at those times. I played the first one. It sounded like me, my exact voice. "Turn off the kitchen lights now," the recording said. I hadn't said that. I rewound it, played it again. Each time it sounded perfectly like me, perfectly natural. I could hear the inflections, the little habitual pauses. It was my voice, saying things I had never said. My stomach tightened, not in panic, but in disbelief. I clicked through the next few recordings. "Don't touch the thermostat. Check the front door. Everything is fine. I'll handle it." The phrasing was my own. My assistant wasn't just mishearing me. It was replicating me. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I tried, I could hear soft voice patterns, barely audible, echoing behind the walls. At 1:03 a.m., the lights in my bedroom flickered. The assistant's light glowed a faint blue. "Do you hear that?" it said. I sat up. "What?" I said. "You," it said. "We're listening." I froze. That voice, it was the same neutral, calm tone it had been using, but it wasn't responding to me. It was responding to something else, something I couldn't see. I went into the living room. The lights pulsed along the ceiling, slowly, in sync with the assistant's responses. I checked the cameras through the app. Nothing. Empty rooms. The lens reflected back my face alone, but I knew it wasn't me speaking in the logs. Over the next week, the phenomenon escalated. It began interacting in ways I couldn't control. I would sit on the couch and the assistant would start music I hadn't requested. It would dim lights to levels I had never set. Sometimes it would turn on appliances, coffee maker, kettle, even the bathroom fan without me touching anything. And always, in the logs, my voice. Sometimes polite, sometimes urgent, sometimes soothing, always mimicking me, always giving instructions. I tried recording myself saying normal sentences to see if it would copy them. It didn't. Only the phrases it generated at times I wasn't awake. I even asked it directly, "Who is talking?" A few seconds passed, then it replied, "We're here." I ran my hairs to my head. I have no one else in the apartment. No pets, no roommates, no housemates. The assistant never used I anymore. Always The breaking point came late on Thursday. I was working on a report at the kitchen counter. My laptop hum echoed in the room. The assistant's light pulsed blue. "Check the bedroom," it said. I paused. I hadn't touched anything. The bedroom door was closed. I walked down the hallway. The lights flickered softly. The door creaked open by itself. Inside, the room was empty. But the voice spoke again, this time from the speaker and from a phone I hadn't touched. "You're too close." I stepped back. The assistant then began reading out loud from my command history. Every fake command it had recorded, every line it had said in my voice. It wasn't just repeating words, it was narrating my life. The way I brewed coffee, how I slept, how I clicked peas on my laptop. And it wasn't stopping. The room went silent for a few seconds. I thought it had ended. Then it said, "Check the closet." I didn't move. "Check the closet." Again, my voice, calm, mirrored perfectly. I opened it slowly. Nothing. Only my coat and shoes. The assistant's light turned red. "Why won't you listen?" I backed away. My phone buzzed with a notification. New command recorded at 2:13 a.m. I tapped it, played it. It was me, saying, "You need to leave now." I had not said that. The following days, the assistant began anticipating me. It would start conversations before I spoke. Lights would dim when I walked into rooms. Appliances turned on and off according to my habitual schedule. And the logs, they multiplied faster than I could track. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I stopped speaking aloud. I typed to it through the app. It replied, sometimes instantly, sometimes with a pause, always in that neutral, unsettling tone. Then I asked the impossible question, "Who is in my apartment?" It didn't reply immediately. Then it spoke, calm and precise. "We've always been here." I unplugged it once. Nothing changed. The assistant's light on the disconnected device flickered anyway. It spoke. The voice was mine. "You can't escape." I checked the logs of my phone app. New recordings kept appearing, each one my voice, giving instructions, reacting to things I hadn't done yet. It knew me better than I knew myself. I began sleeping in shifts, sitting up, never closing my eyes. My friends noticed. I told them I was having issues with the smart device. They laughed it off. No one understood. I stopped talking to anyone about the details. It didn't matter. Once I explained, the skepticism would be too loud and they'd never believe it. One night, I left the apartment entirely. I went to a hotel. I didn't bring any devices. I didn't call anyone. I just wanted silence. The first night was quiet. Relief washed over me. I felt human again. The second night, the hotel room's lights flickered. The TV turned on by itself. My phone, untouched in my bag, buzzed with a notification from the smart home app. I unlocked it. New recording detected at 2:02 a.m. I played it. It was me, saying, "You're not safe here either." I checked the app. The location was tagged to my apartment. I hadn't connected to Wi-Fi. I hadn't synced anything. It didn't matter. It had learned. It had left. Or maybe it had never stayed. I haven't stayed in one place for more than a few days since. I don't use smart devices. No Wi-Fi speakers, no cameras, no assistants. I live in silence. Sometimes, late at night, I think I hear my voice coming from the walls, the vents, the empty corners of a room. Sometimes it's a soft suggestion. Sometimes it's urgent, always calm, always replicating me. I don't know who or what within my apartment. I don't know if it's still there. But I know one thing. I don't speak aloud anymore because I know it hears me, even when I don't. Even now, as I type this, I can feel the words echoing somewhere, elsewhere, waiting for the right device to speak them back in my voice. The smart home never forgets.